fade into endless darkness. She could feel time freeze around her. There was no day, no hour here in the Hall of the Wind. It was preserved amongst the constellations. The sensation had once been jarring to Kay, to observe time flowing so unhindered amongst the humans on the Isle, and then leave it behind like a moth-eaten cloak. "Remember your purpose," Kay thought sharply, as the last second of mortal time cracked and fell from her wings like ice. She needed to prepare herself for this meeting, because Bane was going to ask about Jack Tamerlaine. She reached the gardens, suppressing a flurry of fear, a pang of resistance. The king would sense them in her, and she couldn't afford his ire. She took her time, breathing and walking through rows of flowers spun from frost and snow, her wings tucked close against her back. They were reminiscent to the wings of a dragonfly, and their colour was hers alone. The shade of sunset surrendering into night, a dusky mauve lined with quicksilver veins. They caught the radiance of the stars burning in the braziers as she continued to move toward the hall. Lightning flickered through the clouds beneath her feet. Kay felt the sting of it through her soles, and she fought the urge to cower again. She hated how reflexive it was, after years of feeling the light and lash of his disapproval. He was angry then, for having to wait on her. Kay shivered, bracing herself as she walked amongst the pillars of the hall. The entire flaxen-haired court had already gathered, wings tucked in submission. They observed her approach. Older spirits who had once taught her how to fly and who had also shredded her wings. Younger spirits who looked at her with both fear and awe, aspiring to take her place as messenger. The weight of their eyes and their silence made it difficult to breathe as Kay approached the king. Bane watched her come, his eyes like embers, his expression so still it could have been carved from limestone. His blood-red wings were spread outward in a show of authority, and a lance was in his hand, illuminated by lightning. Kay knelt before the northern wind because she had no other choice, but she wondered, when will be the last time I bend a knee to you? "Kay," Bane said, drawing her name out with feigned patience. "Why have you kept me waiting?" She thought of numerous answers, all of them hinged on truth. "Because I loathe you, because I am no longer your servant, because I am finished with your orders." But she said, "Forgive me, my king. I should have come sooner." "What news of the bard?" he asked, and while he tried to sound languid, Kay heard the hitch in his voice. Jack Tamerlaine made the king incredibly paranoid. Kay straightened. The silver web of her armour chimed as she moved. "He is languishing," she replied, thinking of how she had left Jack, kneeling in the weaver's killyard, staring at the loam in his hands. "And does he play? Does he sing?" Kay knew her kind couldn't lie. It made answering Bane a challenge, but ever since Lorna, Kay had become good at deflecting him. "His sorrow seems to weigh him down," she said, which was truth. Ever since Adaira left, Jack had been a mere shadow of himself. "He doesn't want to play." Bane was quiet. Kay held her breath as whispers began to spin in the hall. She resisted the temptation to glance over her shoulder to look at her kindred. "This bard appears to be weak, just as the orchard showed us," she started to say, but cut her words short when Bane stood. His long shadow rippled down the dais stairs, touching Kay with a shock of cold. "He appears to be weak, you say?" the king echoed. "And yet he has summoned us all. He dares to play in the open. I was merciful to him, was I not? Over and over, I have given him time to amend his ways and set aside his music. But he refuses, which leaves me no choice but to punish him further." Kay shut her mouth, her pointed teeth clinking together. Lorna had been a shrewd musician. She had learned from the Bard of the East before her, who had also been mindful of Bane and the spirit realm, and had played for decades unscathed. But Jack had been given no such opportunity, Lorna having died before he returned to Cadence. Sometimes Kay watched him, as she was ordered to do of late, and she wanted nothing more than to materialize and tell him, "I want you to carry a message to Wynn of the Wildflowers," Bane